Hello and welcome back to the channel. My name is Krashy, and today we're going to be diving into a VOD review of the final match between this Japanese high school event. Now, here's the thing. I don't know the official titling for it. I'm sorry. They haven't done like a ton of marketing for it, and what they have, I just didn't pick up on the name for it. But essentially they did a like high school like kind of league, I think, and it was like running month to month, and then it led up to a LAN event, which the venue looks amazing. It looks really, really cool, and I wanted to dive in and just see what they're playing. So obviously, I think this is probably on the current patch, just with no emblems. And let's look at the team comp. So first and foremost, Hoopa and Blissey picked for both teams. You have an EAMP Hoopa or EAMP Blissey versus a Choice Specs Blissey, Muscle Focus, and EXP share for the Hoopas. And then something really, really interesting. We have double stacking weakness policy on both Serenas, which I think is really, really cool. And then there's a Cookie double stacking Cookie and SP attack specs on Cram, and Cram is the jungler. That's really, really interesting. Otherwise, I'd say the builds look semi-standard. Aegis build is muscle weakness with a potion, so leaning into the potion a little bit. And yeah, double band buddy barrier on Ninetale, so pretty standard looking builds. Cinderace build looks pretty decent. And let's go ahead and dive into it. So I know at some point during this game, I was like skimming through it, they have like a technical issue or something and they have to cut away, so I'm gonna have to skip past that. But I want to go ahead and take a look at this, and hopefully they'll show the stage like after it and stuff, because it's actually really, really sick. So all right, let's get into this game. You can see the purple side team, I believe, is winning the series 2-1, and they're going to be looking to close this one out as this is the last game. So spoiler alert, sorry, can't really hide that. Oh, it's the Serena jungle. That's what it is. I thought it was Cram jungle. Okay, so Serena jungle. Nonetheless, I mean, they still have to double stack out of the jungle, and they're going to be running 1-1-3. The other side team is running 2-1-2 with the double all-rounder in top lane, which is interesting. So we'll have to see how they're able to handle this. Also, they have the Cinderace in lane, which is this Japanese thing that they've started doing a little bit more and more. I still haven't really watched enough footage to get a good handle on it, just because there hasn't been a ton of competitive stuff going on lately. But you can essentially see that I guess both of the jungles or some of the jungle, I'm not exactly sure where Serena fully cleared to, they just kind of like start in jungle or walk past it and come back down and look and compete for all this farm. So they just want to like control the lanes the best they can, and then they'll go back in the jungle and like deal with the experience later, which I don't really have like I said, I don't really have a read on it, because to me it feels like a waste of time, and like you're leaving your buffs up for extra time when they could just come back and you could focus on like triple rotation. But if you're able to control the lanes, maybe it is good. It's one of those things that, like, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see what that looks like at the world stage, because I definitely think that some of the competitive players are doing that kind of a strategy too. But so it was like almost a minute, if not longer than a minute later, that the jungle buffs were taken. So that's a delayed jungle buff kill on Ludicolo and Buffalont for about a minute, which means that there is no third jungle rotation option whenever you do something like this. A bit of split jungle stuff happening, considering you can see the blue buff is now on the Cinder. And I guess the point is to try to maybe get them into the lane as much as possible, so that way they can just be a presence in the lane without like wasting the farm or just not being super 100% focused on the jungle farm, and maybe a little bit more focused on just controlling the lanes. Okay, so this is where the pause happens, and I'm going to go ahead and skip forward because I think I have like the timestamp for it. So some kind of a technical issue. You can actually see that they're all playing on mobile, and we should be all right back into it, only like a few seconds behind. And it looks like the purple side team has been controlling the tri lane pretty well. I mean, looking at it, Blissey, Hoopa, Ninetales is a pretty solid tri-lane. And double all-rounder top is really interesting. I like it for trying to bring it to the comp, but it seems like it might be a hard thing to do. It may just be better to run like the tri-lane with like one of the all-rounders. We see that a little bit in North America, where people will play an all-rounder and bottom kind of in the attacker role. But yeah, you don't really see a singular person getting a ton of farm in this particular type of meta. Like, no one's pushing like 8 right now, and we're coming up on 7 minutes, and the Cinderace is kind of pushing for 8. The Cram just ticked into 7, but no one essentially is going to have their Unite move, because they haven't had like a funnel of EXP going toward one person. So really, really interesting strategy and meta that's developed in Japan. And again, this is a high school event, so this may not be the best players that the country can produce, but you never know. I have no idea where their skill level lies, and we'll have to watch and see what this first Dread fight looks like. All right, so No major rotation from either team. You see Krams focusing the top side, the Rotom, and then they're having like a little bit of like a 3v3 kind of like fight with the Aegislash down on the bottom side. So they're controlling the bushes. The other team, like the purple side team, doesn't seem like they want to be super committal because they don't have anything they can commit to. And this has actually given Cinder time to get the level 9. So really interesting how the purple side team is like focusing Rotom, and they're going to basically just dance this and give it up. I don't even know if the Hoopa lives here. Okay, so they get full initiated on. Hoopa now doesn't have a hyperspace hole to pull down any help. So that's really, really interesting. Really interesting. I'd be very surprised to see the purple side team able to hold this goal at all. Maybe they can. Again, they still have the Cinderace Unite move, but the purple side team doesn't have any Unite moves or anything. That said, they do have Blissey Hoopa Ninetales, which is just not the easiest thing to push against. And Cram has been getting huge because they basically like traded the map and farmed a whole bunch. So we have 2 Unite moves on either side. We've got to love the new spectator mode. I think this might be the first time I'm actually looking at it. 3 Unite moves on the left-hand side now, or for both sides. So experience-wise, it doesn't look like it's too terrible. I wonder how much of that was just because the purple side team was actually doing well, but then not getting Dread is a bit of an interesting decision. So we'll see what they decide to do, how they decide to split. Since the Rotom was actually taken first, you don't have to see some kind of aggressive like lane swap or like push to top lane or anything like that. The timers are going to be you know, pretty similar timed. They're not like staggered like they usually are in like say like a North American competitive meta. So we'll see what they do here. It's just very maintenance mode for this mid game. First timer comes up for the Rotom. You can see that it's close battle. So they're getting that close battle call, 96 to 87. And the Rotom is coming up. So the question is, how do they play this mid game when the Rotom is up? They have a tower in top side, purple side team does, orange team doesn't. So orange team, it's really hard to go for an objective when you just don't have a goal there. They'll probably have to give it up. And again, the Cinder and the Serena are pushing forward a little bit, with the orange side team posturing a little bit on the low ground. Okay, so they just can't get it. They can't get it. It's hard pressed to steal that, right? And even if you do, it doesn't really do much for you. That said, purple side team pulling the teammates down. They want to go for this Dread, and this is looking like a good fight for them, just because they either allow the Rotom to get in because the other team has to leave, and that's what they're doing now. But it happens so late. So like the top side, like the Serena is letting the Rotom in, but they ported down so late that I'm not sure that the orange side team can win. And they're actually doing pretty well with the Cinder Unite move. They're able to get a couple people out there, I think, without losing someone, so they can come back and kind of like refight. But this fight should mostly be concluded, I think. The Hoopa's probably going to die. Ooh, the Blaze Kick, it gets the Cram. Okay, the Cram gets through the hyperspace hole. This is just, you know what I have to say? I have to say, like, again, knowing this is a high school event, it feels like it's just a little sloppy. Like, people are like a little all over the place. Maybe the shot calling is not the best, and they don't really know what the best play is per se. You know, like trying to hold the top side, trying to, you know, hold the Rotom in, but then porting in late, or, you know, trying to contest the Rotom at all as opposed to just like letting them have it. Like little things like that. But all things considered, it's like a 21-point game. So it's not that bad. Looking at the levels, 12-12, 12-13, 10-11, 10-11, 11-10. So it's pretty even, if not in favor of the orange side team. Probably just from getting a little bit of kills in return. So I really think it's mostly just going to come down to like the final fight or the Zapdos or how they decide to play it. Nice initiation. Dude, crazy damage on Stomp. Oh my gosh. The character is insane. All right, crazy damage on the Serena. Level 13.5. I mean, almost level 14. So we got, okay, we have third Rotom is coming up, and it'll be about an 18-second Rotom, meaning there's 18 seconds on the clock for anybody to get it. So to me, I feel really interested that nobody's posturing for it like right now. It's like up. It's like they could have people like on it right now. This is really bizarre. I would definitely have gone for that, at least if I was the purple team, knowing that they could kind of get that like for free. I don't know. You can get it for free. You can kind of push with it a little bit, like buy a little bit of time. You don't even have to push with it. Just let it push. All right. So small lead because it's 21 points. That's funny. They don't know that it's, you know, that could be 91 or 99 points, but they have small lead, or like normal lead, which is less than 100 points, greater than 20, because they have 21 point lead. It's basically close battle, but they don't know. And we got to see how they decide to take this fight. It's a lot of dancing. Orange team on the bottom side. See who initiates. I mean, this is basically an even game. Okay, the Serena goes straight in the back lines. Gets the nice Blissey Unite move, which passes through quite a bit. And then all the Unite moves pop. The Cram ult is probably honestly doing a ton, assuming that's what I saw. Yeah, it was. And honestly, the thing that literally just wins them the fight is the Blissey Unite. Like, being the proactive team. I talk about this all the time whenever I used to do VOD reviews. Proactive versus reactive. Like, if you're the team that's proactive, you just like guarantee damage. So like, watch the Serena. She's gonna dive in, and then you get Blissey Unite damage. Watch. Up. She probably hit maybe like 2 people on top of like some poke damage and the Cram Unite that you can barely see. We can barely see the Cram Unite. We'll take a look at it again. He's gonna dive the pit, and then he like ults on the inside of the pit, and he starts hitting a decent amount. Like, yeah, he's nailing the, oh my gosh, the Serena and the Blissey got destroyed by Cram ult. I think it was probably more so Cram ult than Blissey Unite move. So just being the proactive team, the team that like doesn't wait to do damage, is so important. It just takes like a lot of trust in your team, and being able to like go into a fight like, okay, we're good. And I think that comes from levels, right? Because like the orange side team had like a level 14 Cinderace, and that might have, I don't think that happened post death or anything. I don't know. Any takeaway if you're like a newer team or a newer 5-stack? Maybe look to be proactive. Like, have a lot of faith in your team comp and like how you know how to fight and what you want to accomplish. If you have an all-rounder, let them initiate. If you have Blissey, you want to let them step forward, take a little bit of damage first, and then you know, ult backwards. Whatever the like team fight comp potential looks like, I guess. Like what is the comp and how can it fight, and then how can you be proactive with that fight? You could kind of apply that to solo queue too, but not as much. Now they're trying to counter score, but there's just no time. That was such a long dance, and that's the thing about like dance fight. Oh, is that a helping hand, Blissey? I just realized that. It's such a, like, when you have these like long dances at Zapdos, there's almost never any chance to come back. It just comes down to that one fight, that one flip. So you have to be really careful for that. But yo, GG's. Like I said, I want to take a look at the set because it looked really good. Look at this. And first and foremost, I have to get this off my chest. Of course, this team is the winner. They're the yellow team. Just gonna say, it's the best color in the world. Clearly big fan of the yellow team. But look at this set, man. If Worlds looks anything like this, it's gonna be awesome. So I'm really looking forward to the stage at Worlds, and I'm hoping that they show like a bigger section of it. I know they do. I want to take a look at that really quickly for like them like announcing the winners and stuff, just so you can kind of see what it looks like. Look at that. Nice. I don't know what they won. I have no idea, because I really don't even know what all this event is. I know it was a high school event, so congratulations to all the students that participated, and especially this team for winning. So GG's to them. Friends, thank you so much for watching this VOD review. Really an interesting one, but still Blissey Hoopa holding strong in the meta, at least for now. As always, friends, thank you so much for watching. Drop a like on the video, drop a comment, let me know what you think. Be sure to be kind to one another. Tell someone you love them. I'll see you on the next video.